music history expert A.R. Shaw.
A.R. Shaw. A.R. Shaw. A.R. Shaw. A.R. Shaw.
A.R. Shaw, author of Trap History, Atlantic Culture, and the Global Impact of Trap Music.
I think that I think when we think about hip hop, I think a lot of people look at hip hop in the same vein as black leaders. And I'm gonna tell you why. So in the history of hip hop, we can go back to the 70s, the 80s, when hip hop was just starting. You have to understand that a lot of those artists who were coming up in that time period, they were pretty much raised by Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King, the Black Panthers, things of that nature. So there was a lot of, you can see the crossover between the Black Power movement and the hip hop movement, because it was like a voice for the voiceless. Hip hop became, a musical platform that not just a platform of music just for people to party and have a good time, but it was also a platform that talked about the social ills of underserved communities, whether it was in the Bronx, New York, whether it was in Compton, California, whether it was in Chicago, Detroit, the Bay Area, Atlanta, Miami. Hip hop was almost like what Chuck D would call it, the CNN of Black America. And so we can understand now why certain people who choose to become rappers, they are held to a higher standard in a lot of ways because of that connection between that Black Power artists like KRS-One, Chuck D, Tupac. They were all outspoken in terms of what was happening within these communities across America. Now, I want to kind of break down in terms of just like, just the whole the juxtaposition of what's happening now with Snoop Dogg, Rick Ross, Nelly, all choosing to perform with Trump, and why people are upset. So I want to start with Snoop. So Snoop is I won't put him in the same vein as a Nelly or Rick Ross or Soulja Boy, Rod Wave. Snoop is pretty much what we can consider the biggest or the most known rapper of our generation. You gotta understand, grandmothers know Snoop, little kids know Snoop. People who have never even heard of Snoop's a Snoop Dogg album they know who Snoop is. He's that famous. Like, he's arguably the most famous rapper of all time. We can really argue that. But another thing about Snoop is that Snoop really, he was someone who always, it seemed like he stood on principle in a lot of ways. Now, years ago, 2017, he went at some of the black artists who decided to perform at Trump's 2017 inauguration. So I want you guys to take a look of what Snoop said in 2017. And this video is going by.
So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo ass gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roll one of you Uncle Tom ass gonna do it first. I's the one that performs for himself.
So along with those words that he had for those black artists who decided to perform for Trump in 2017, Snoop also released a video called Lavender, where he just going at Trump hard. I mean, he basically called Trump pretty much everything. Pretty had a Trump lookalike in the video. The biggest question now is what happened between 2017 when Snoop had those feelings about Trump to now. Like, I want to bring in Tupac, because Tupac is someone who, as I said before, in terms of hip hop having that connection to that Black Power movement, Tupac was one of those voices that kind of spoke out for the community, that spoke out about institutional issues that's been impacting Black America for decades following slavery. And so Tupac was a good person to articulate these issues. And so in 1992, Tupac had pretty much a message for Donald Trump and his connection to capitalism. And this is what Tupac had to say.
This world is such a, and when I say this world, I mean it. I don't mean in an ideal sense. I mean in every day, every little thing you do. It's such a, gimme. Everybody back off. You know, everybody's like, you taught that from school, everywhere. Big business. If you want to be successful, you want to be like Trump, gimme. Push. Step. Crush. That's how.
And so as we see now, those words by Tupac, I don't think that Tupac would have done what Snoop and Nelly and Rick Ross did, if we seen this version of what Tupac represented then, and he remained that version of Tupac, I can't see a day where Tupac would perform at an inauguration presented by Donald Trump. You got to understand, Snoop can go to any corporation and get a paycheck. So that was one reason why I was trying to figure out why would Snoop decide to do this inauguration for Trump, knowing that it counters everything that he represents in his brand, right? Snoop has to understand that you're only as good as the base that's always going to ride for you, right? Because those corporations, they know they are looking too. And if there's a mass amount of people that say, okay, this guy isn't cool anymore, this guy isn't someone who we want to follow, then we can see those deals become, less and less. You're only as good as that base that's going to always hold you up. And the black community has always held up Snoop. They've always held up, Nelly, Rick Ross, those artists. And so it's like if you lose that base and you lose the people that actually, support you, I mean, that could be a detrimental to your brand. And then you got to ask yourself, is it really worth it? This paycheck really worth it? So where hip hop started as a place or a space where the voiceless could have a voice, I think now we're in dangerous territory because we're allowing prominent artists to feel like they can be in mainstream society while also reaping the benefits of the coolness and the culture of what hip hop represents. So again, I am AR Shaw. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. You can follow me, AR Shaw TV. Like, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, AR Shaw 23. You can also check out my book, Trap History, Atlanta Culture, and the Global Impact of Trap Music. I'll see you guys next time.